Hey everybody, welcome to the Bold Inventor Show. This is our last show of the season. I'm super excited to have a bold guest waiting backstage. I'm JD Hoovener, owner founder here at Bold Patents Law Firm, and I'm accompanied by my trusty buddy, Matt Kolseth.
Well, hi there.
Good afternoon, Matt. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Second time today, actually. It's awesome.
I know. It's the Christmas season, man.
It is. Thank you for sharing you, Matt, with all of our audience. For those that might be new, haven't heard of us before, we are a patent law firm and we're lawyers, but we're not going to be talking about legal advice or talking confidential issues today. We want to keep things high level, doing a fun interview today, but we can share legal information. So please do ask questions, keep things hypothetical, but don't go ahead and post anything confidential. We don't want you to get in trouble or get the clock started. We have some live guests on, so please do make sure to subscribe. For those podcast listeners out there, we've got a Bold Inventor Kit available. So check the link out. It should be right there in the description on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We've got a really great guest, like I said, on today in pet innovation. We got Jaifanon Jackson. We'll be getting to him in just a little bit, Matt.
Great.
You get to chat with him just for like 1 second before we went live. You have not yet met Jai.
Nope.
All right. Well, it'd be cool. Good for you to meet him on there. He's got a really neat pet leash. So hang tight for that. For those of you out there that are watching, you're welcome to ask questions, participate as much as you want. We'll put you to the top of the list. So we have a few questions we're going to get to that came in over this week. It's been a bit quieter for us over on the patent side. How about you, Matt?
We're still rocking on the trademark side. So I'm hoping it slows down here at some point.
Yeah, it's 18th. We had another week. Well, That's great, actually. That's really good to hear. Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like we have 5 that came through from Cora. Let's just throw it up there. This one looks like it's trademark related. It's regarding a logo.
Sounds good.
Let's see. All right. So if I make a logo for someone and it's their business on the clothes that they sell, is it a one-time fee to buy the logo, or can it be a small percentage of each piece of clothing sold? If so, what percent would be fair?
Yeah. About this question. I represent trademark owners typically, right? And so I'm always going to say that that's the client's trademark, right? They paid for it, they should own it. Now, this is more of a state level contract question than anything else, but you can contract yourself into anything you want, right? So theoretically, you could say, well, I want 10% or 5% or 1% of every sale. I think that's going to be completely unworkable from just a business management perspective. I think
kind of cash flow you're saying, you mean it might be tough to account.
Yeah, you have to monitor it, and you'd have to be more involved. And ultimately, that's probably not something that you or the other party want. My recommendation would be to kind of do what's industry standard, which is a work made for hire agreement, meaning they put up money, and in exchange, you agree to create the logo for them and transfer the rights of that logo to the third party who's purchasing it from you. That's just the cleanest way to do it. Again, it's called a work made for hire agreement, and they're pretty standard in this field of work. Very, very good. Perfect answer, Matt. It's a good start. 1 for 1. All right, great. Keep it coming.
Yeah, this one, I may not have a great answer. I'm doing a quick read. I was like, oh boy. Maybe I need your help with this. What is a patent registration service, and why is it important? Well, I've got a couple of things in mind. One thing in particular, this makes me think of spam.
Yeah, me too. Yep. They're gonna put you on some fancy Rolodex index of registered trademarks that nobody ever cares or sees. And
the governing body of registered marks of the world. For $600, you'll be added to our list. It doesn't have any legal bearing. So patent registration service, I don't think is actually a thing.
Right.
Because you can have a patent agent represent you and research, file your application for you, represent you between you and the inventor. Patent attorney certainly can represent you, give you legal opinions as well. That's what we do here at Bold. I think you got the wrong wording, perhaps. Your patent registration service sounds like somebody's trying to scam you. Maybe
it sounds official because it's patent registration service, capital P, R, and S, right? So it's
Yeah,
It sounds like someone's trying to pull a fast one. We see those a lot on the trademark side of things. The World Trademark Protection Service, WTP, or whatever it is, whatever acronym they're using these days.
Yeah, with a really fancy logo with the eagle and everything. It's like, oh, the crest.
It's junk.
Well,
Yeah.
that's my guess. If anybody else is online, they want to do some Googling or they challenge me on that, if there is such a thing, let me know. We're cruising.
We're 2 for 2.
We're 2 for 2. We're sticking with patents here. Let's take a look here. I love these simple questions, straightforward, not too long.
Yeah, right. A lot of these, like, one sentence questions.
I'm an inventor, and my patent is granted. Congratulations. How do I get funds to get my product manufactured? Really great question. I've written articles on this, fundraising, lots of different ways. I kind of like to start simple with, your own money. If you've got money saved up, or you've got lines of credit card, you've got access to a loan, a bank loan. Those are I know that's kind of sound boring, but those are the immediate ones. Then you can start going outside where you go to friends and family. Try to get some help. If this is something you're really passionate about, you should be able to convey that to friends and family. Dive into that bucket if you're not able to get loans or capital on your own. That's why I like the idea of keeping it close.
Yeah.
If you need to go big, like large scale manufacturing, by then, hopefully you've probably got at least other individuals or companies that are along this with you. And you now have more sophisticated investors, call it seed or Series A rounds. That's when, even in the friends and family rounds, I would suggest you get with a business attorney and make sure that those contracts are drafted well so that you're set up for success in terms of ownership, what you're responsible to do, lots of different things. So having a business attorney set that up. What else? There are tons of great.
What about like inventor competitions, right? Just get your name out there. Because what he's asking, or what they're asking in this particular scenario, is like, so I have the patent, now what? Well, now you market, right? Now you go find the money, right? And you do that by, marketing, essentially. Whether it's from mom or if it's for a company down the road, right? It's marketing.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, I think what is your business plan? How do you want to sell? How do you want to make money? Because that's what this is about. Getting a patent is about getting a return on your investment of time and money, hiring professionals to get the thing done. Is your plan to start a company? Okay, that's a big lift. That's a lot of risk, potential, a lot of reward. Or is it just simply to go find a partner and license it with a different type of money, perhaps, to go get, if you're looking to manufacture it, if it's a small batch, keep it local. Keep it local. That's going to give you the best ability to keep things confidential, work closely with the individual human beings involved. If you go out of state, it gets more risky, and out of the country, of course, the riskiest, but probably the lowest cost. So you can kind of, like Matt said, there's lots of different forums to do pitching, pitch your product, start being able to voice it, have a clear message, begin to learn how to talk about your invention a lot, what benefits are. But once you start making that product and selling it, you're going to get some very honest people giving you their opinion on what your product, how good it is, and maybe how you might want to tweak it to make it even better.
Yeah. So
good deal. Let's do one more, then we'll bring our guest on, Matt.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. Wait, speaking of pitching investors, one more on the patent side. Oh, exactly. How do I file for a patent on an AI ability idea? And where do I go to pitch for investors ASAP? Okay, good. So an AI ability idea. Okay. Pretty generic, but I suppose that's fine for just keeping a question out there. I think it's, first of all, you got to make sure that what you've come up with is an invention. You'll be able to describe it in enough detail so that someone else in the technology that works with AI could go build it. So do you have it thought out well enough to really be able to describe it in that much detail? Okay, that's an invention. And now is it eligible for patent protection? Meaning, does it have the novelty and non-obviousness required to merit moving forward? And so conducting a really deep research on that is the first step. Now, this is a really big area. Obviously, it's everywhere. And so research can be quite expensive, to get going, to make sure you're looking at all the different prior art. So taking a look before you present publicly, filing an application first is probably what we'd recommend. having at least a provisional application filed if we determine that this has some novel functionality in terms of what it's doing. The AI ability idea, maybe you've got a new way of, transferring data, moving information, presenting it, displaying it, collecting that data in a different way. Those are ways that you can get a method or a process patent application filed, covering as much as you can, right? Put as much meat on the bones as possible so that when you do file the non-provisional, you can then draw out the claims and be more precise about what your product actually is. In terms of where to go pitch, there's tons of these. I mean, they're all over.
Come on, Bold Patents, Bold Inventor Show. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, you could come on our show. We've got it in just a minute or two. You're gonna meet an inventor. There's lots of forums around university campuses. Everywhere you can think of. Startup, you name the city, right? Startup San Diego, Startup Seattle. Go check those out. Go to your local city. Just find the biggest city and just go fail. Go make a bunch of mistakes. Go flop a bunch in your pitches. And that's how you're gonna get better. You're never gonna be ready. Most inventors can be scared, get kind of nervous. But once you filed your application, your patent pending, you can talk about whatever you filed freely, knowing that as long as you follow up with a non-provisional, you're fully protected. Matt, how about that? Any pitch areas you're familiar with? Some of your clients have been pitching at or presenting forums that they've been going to?
I'm trying to think about that. Not typically. Last week we had those two younger girls on who.
Oh, that's right.
They won a national competition, which got me thinking more about that as a means to kind of gain exposure, right? Get investment potential, get people interested in investing. And then my wife and I were just talking to an artist friend of ours about how he kind of grew his artwork business, right?
Yeah.
And that's how he did it. He started entering in competitions. National competitions for artwork, and that was how he kind of grew his brand.
Yeah, that's cool.
Interest from people buying products from him, and then also galleries. So
right.
I think that's an option for a lot of inventors that they don't think about, is that there's probably some invention convention out there that you could apply to participate in.
Absolutely. And you get free marketing. The company putting the event on is going to be pushing that all out everywhere. Yep. And you don't pay for it. All you do is, show up and talk about your. Yeah.
Another thing to do too is start going to trade shows. If there's a particular trade that your product falls into, start going to trade shows and shaking hands.
Yep. Let's do it, Matt. We got our guests waiting. We got Jaifanon Jackson. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do
Bring
it.
him on.
Jaifanon, welcome to the Bold Inventor Show.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good to see you. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, definitely. I humbly appreciate the time.
Yes, for sure. Well, I see you got your branding there on your shirt, and you got a hat. Show us zoom in on that hat a little bit. What does it say?
Tail and pause.
Tail and pause. I love
anything with a tail will pause.
Love it.
Oh, well, tell us about your invention and how you got inspired.
Little product here.
Okay, show it off. I'm gonna put you on the larger.
Okay, so my invention. Okay, so my invention is a pet securing device, basically a leash. It's called the Paws Leash. This here I'm holding is the large paws leash. This is for your medium to large dogs. And what this allows you to do is attach this. I'm going to turn the camera just a little bit. Didn't bring any props in there. But it allows you to attach this to any pole-like apparatus with a simple 1, 2, 3 click.
Yep.
For your outdoors, we still there? Yeah. For your outdoorsy pet lovers on the go, people who just want to be with their pet anywhere, this will give you the opportunity to go out and secure your pet for a brief moment and unclick and keep going. So if you don't mind, I could go into the story on how I came up with this.
I'd love to. Please go ahead. Yes.
Really great. And for those listening at home, so what we're looking at here is, looks like a dog leash, but then it also has, like a carabiner clip almost attached to it, which I assume then you can wrap around a pole or, right, and then clip it to the existing leash. Yeah, super smart. Looks really easy to use, one-handed. Yep, looks very ergonomic. So,
yes, multi-use. Multi-use. You can attach this to your belt clip. I'm saying, mean to interrupt. You can attach this to your belt clip. You can attach this to. You can wrap it around your waist.
Yep.
And then any pole-like apparatus that you may find in your day-to-day walks, travels. For those who want to go to a cookout, a bar, there's nowhere you can't use my leash. It's successful with everything. Very, very strong. I have a commercial on Instagram where we pulled a car with it. So you don't be afraid. Those out there with your big dogs, don't be afraid. No fear. Paws leash is here. It will hold your dog. Okay.
That's cool.
We also have the small paws, which is on our website, www.tailandpaws.com, for the medium to smaller dogs. It's not bulky, weighs about a half a pound, very thin rope, and they come in stylish colors as well. So this is actually our first line here that we have for sale, 40% off on www.tailandpaws.com currently, that you can get for your holiday shopping.
It's great. I love it. Very clever.
Yes. I just got a dog this year, Cal. He's getting bigger every day. He's a black golden doodle. And I could definitely use this, because he's very rambunctious, wants to say hi to everybody. So yeah, yes. Very, very cool. I saw your website too, tailandpaws.com. So you are selling now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see what they sell for.
65 and 60. You are, so full disclosure, I used to own a dog gear business. We manufactured American-made leashes and collars. It's called Tiger Tail. And you're going after the premium segment, obviously, right?
Yes, definitely premium. Why? Because we offer a lifetime warranty. That's how much we believe in our product.
Love that for you guys. I mean, the product looks great, looks high quality. This is not something you go to your, down the road manufacturer and have them produce. This obviously took some thought, took some prototyping, correct? Yeah,
yes,
this is great.
Definitely. A lot of prototyping.
Yeah, it's very cool. I dig it.
So give us the backstory, Jaifanon. What sort of inspired you?
So speaking of rambunctious, I heard you mention about Cal, is your new dog, right? Yeah. So my neighbor had a Shih Tzu named Louie. All right, and when I get off work around 5:30, my neighbor didn't get off to 7:30. So I took a great liking to Louie, and I would walk Louie for him until he got home. He didn't get up to 7:30. So every time I would walk Louie, I would seem to get a lot of phone calls. Mainly because I had a catering business, and I would get a lot of orders around 5. I worked as an electrician during the day, cater as my second gig. Okay, so what happens? I would get so many calls, and I got the phone in the left hand. I'm kind of old school, so I didn't go with the earpiece. So I like to put the phone in my ear, and I would have Louie in the right hand, and phone rings. Hey, Jai, I got an order. And I'm like, God, I got Louie. So I'm looking around, I have to take a seat and, writing with Louie in my hand. And every time somebody walks up, Louie's running this way, I'm this way. I'm all over the place. So I got back and I said, how can I fix this? You just naturally, inventors just want to figure out a way to solve things.
Sure.
So I pulled out my pad. And I just drew what I knew I needed. I just drew it on a piece of paper, what I felt like I needed. Now, at that point, I didn't say to myself, I'm going to make this. I just said, it has to be a product out here that can give me what I need, and being able to multitask with phone calls, writing things down, and walking Louie at the same time. But I went on Amazon. I went to Walmart. I actually physically went into Walmart. I went into Pet Strips, PetSmart. I went on every platform that sold pet products, and I couldn't find anything that could satisfy my needs. So I naturally then went to my mom and I said, Mom, you know what? I think I'm going to try to invent something. And she says to me, well, you know what? When I was young, I tried to invent something. I said, Mom, what did you try to invent? She says, I tried to invent a toothbrush that with the toothpaste that could come out of the other end for camping. And I said, really, what happened? And she said, I didn't pursue it. And I said, you know what, Mom? I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to invent this. And she said, you know what? You should go for it. If you believe in it, you should go for it.
That's a great story.
I then took a class. I then took a class and educated myself in the market, in the product, and how to do it from everything from A to Z. Shout out to Chris Bielenberg out there. Great inspiration for me. And here we are. Once my mother saw that I was extremely serious, speaking of the seed, I remember the question. The guy said, hey, how do you get money? I went to friends and family. My mother sold our grandparents' house, right, and she put it in my hands, and we haven't looked back. Yeah.
Wow, Jaifanon, that's a story. So you're basically carrying on that inventor spark of your mother, right? You're carrying forward her inventive, spirit with this product. That's really cool, multi-generational.
Yes.
I would like to give that little credit. You mentioned a name of someone who helped you with a class or curriculum to learn about business or marketing. What is
yes.
it? Can we put a website or a
Chris Bielenberg?
Okay. Well, good deal. Well, if you can put it in the comments.
Innovation.
Say it one more time. What was it?
I'll definitely do that.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, a little bit of a delay in the video. Awesome. Well, okay, so let's dig into kind of this other area. Once you gathered information, you now are kind of getting the funding from friends and family. Tell us what happens next. What's the next thing you did to get where you are?
So the next thing was I called JD. And after I called him and I had an interview with him to figure out what it would take, then you have to now devise a budget for yourself. After you've gone through the part where you've educated yourself in the product, you've educated yourself in the market, which is very important, and then you educate yourself in the competition. So the product, the market, then the competition. Once all of this was dissected, I then got my prototypes together, and this is where Chris came in because he taught me how to devise a prototype. He taught me how to use a 3D printer and come up with these prototypes. Once we were able to come up with the right prototype, then came the testing. The testing is not anything that will happen fast. You have to give this time. There is no rush into this because it's a very expensive process. So if you don't take the time in testing and get you a group you can trust, because I had a group I can trust, you have your NDAs, your non-disclosures, and you have to give them time. I then tested the product for a year with over 20 individuals who had dogs. So I came up with 20 prototypes, let an array of dog owners from small dogs to large dogs test it out. Came up with a list of test questions, with a list of questions. Hey, how much would you pay for this? Do you like how it looks? If you could change one thing, what would it be? Awesome. What did you do with your leash?
What I'm hearing from you.
So over the course of a year,
you're very intentional with what you do, which, a lot of inventors are kind of shoot from the hip, but it seems like you really have a plan, and you had a plan. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to say shout out to YouTube University too, because I'm an electrician and a chef. I didn't know anything about this, so I had to go to all areas I could to educate myself in what it would take. A lot of different podcasts, a lot of different just guys who are on YouTube. I can't just say just one because I went through so many who this is truly comes from the internet. My knowledge came from the internet. So for those out there who say, hey, I can't get it done, I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can get it done, and you have to have no fear. You cannot stop at anything. You can't be afraid to take chances. And this is just something to go on to all the inventors who are out here who believe in what they have. Self-inflicted wounds can hold you back. Don't allow for self-inflicted wounds. Jump in the game, educate yourself in it, and keep moving.
Okay, Jai, tell me about something that didn't go your way. Let's say you sent this off to a couple customers and maybe one of them told you something you didn't want to hear.
Oh, wow. That's, honestly, no customer yet has had any complaints.
No
Everyone
way.
has loved the product. The only thing,
That's awesome.
I've been extremely fortunate, extremely blessed that everyone who's purchased the product has loved the product. They love the fact that if anything takes place with the product, they can send it right back and I'll get you another one out. I love the lifetime warranty. So if I had to say anything, my manufacturer is great. So, okay, here's a story. Yes. I started off making this myself. Right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay. And I realized that it was just extremely too pricey here because I just wanted to be able to say made in America. I wanted to be able to have that sticker on my product. But unfortunately, to be able to give people a fair price, it's very hard starting out to do that. So I was fortunate enough to the individual who was sending me parts from China introduced me to a manufacturer out there who believed in me, for one. They just really said they liked how respectful I was. And they have gone out of their way to supply me with a great product, lifetime tooling, which they provided me, which is almost unheard of.
Yep. And
the shipping is amazing. So that was one thing that I thought I would be able to do that didn't work. I thought I would be able to make this I started off hand making this and it didn't work out, but it just was too expensive. I would have to have the product at over $150, which is insane. But now I was able to cut the price and we looked at maybe possibly shave the price down a little bit more and still have the lifetime warranty for our customers just because business is great. We're able to come out with another line, a color line. If you go to www.talentpause.com, a lot of people at pop-up shows that I attend want the multicolored leash. So they want the colorful, stylish leashes. I get it. They're on the way. They're coming. And they want the smaller leash, the small paws, because we have a lot of active dog owners who have small pets. And people want their leash to match with their shoes these days. So I'm making a way. They want it to match with their purse. So I'm providing that.
So Jaifanon, you talked about these pop-up events and in-person, something kind of like trade shows. But before you mentioned you got a lot of education through the internet and you are selling online.
Yes.
What have you found to be the most impactful ways to reach potential customers, get deals done? Is it in person or online or mixable?
Contrary to the belief, in person. In person, why? Because people get to meet me. You get to talk to me. I get to live show you how my product works. You get to feel it. You get to touch it. And there's nothing beats in person. I mean, you can see a lot of reels and a lot of funny commercials on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and I love it. I love the platform. But you have to get out there. You have to go to these pet shows. You have to go to these trade shows. You have to go to whatever your subject is, any genre, whatever that is, you have to go to these events and be part of it. That has been the best way. It's been the most impactful way because now people see you. They go right on your site. If they don't buy right in person, they know what's going on. They know what to expect. And I love the feeling of doing that.
Wonderful. All right, let's talk a bit about the patent world. You're working with Miss Bonita Singh on your application. I want to hear a little bit about your experience working with Bonita.
Yes.
and then talk about international protection and what you started to do there.
Yes, yes. So Bonita has been great to work with. She shoots straight with you. She didn't tell me initially. She didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. Like you might meet a lot of lawyers who are going to just tell you what you want to hear. No, she didn't do that. That was what won me, because she says, "Hey, I don't know if we can do this. I'm going to tell you you got a chance, but then I'm going to tell you, hey, it may not work." And she didn't just try to sell me a dream. So that in itself told me, I said, I think you're for me. And I was fortunate she was able to get it done faster than when she told me she's almost done any patent. Couldn't believe it. Remember she called me. I took a vacation. I was in Tampa and she said, "Hey, I know you're on vacation, but I just want to let you know that everything went through, and congratulations." And that was like the greatest thing that I heard. Like, it was just to hear that just made me feel like, hey, you accomplished this. It's done. So we then moved forward. She introduced me. She educated me. That's one thing I want to say. She did a lot of educating. She not only just did the work, but she educated you every step of the way. And I appreciate that the most. Just to be able to just continue to get education on what it takes, what happens, paperwork, replies. She was there every step of the way. And I'm not sure, I don't know what other law firms are like, but she did that for me. And I appreciate that. And so now we're moving forward with international patents. I actually just sent the email that I wanted to do Australia now, because I met an influencer in Australia who loves the product. So
Love it. That's great.
So now we're going Australia, Japan, China, Canada, I believe Brazil. We have so many countries, so we want to get the globe. That's the goal.
That's amazing. Taking the world by storm, Jaifanon. Yep. It's wonderful. So yeah, you've kind of capitalized on the fact of the U.S. examiner says green light, thumbs up. We're going to allow the patent. Now you can go and make those investments in the countries where there are markets. So you're in a really good position.
Yes.
Let's talk about going to market. Let's talk about your branding and how you're selling your product. What do you see this year and into next year, how you want to be selling?
Well, again, the live shows are my biggest asset. The live trade shows are my biggest asset. Right now, coming up in March 26th to the 28th is the American Pet Products Association Product of the Year trade show, which my product will be nominee for Product of the Year.
That's awesome.
For those out there who, for those out there who are in whatever field you're in, you want to find out what is the Super Bowl of your field. And whatever that may be, you want to go to. You want to be part of whatever that is, whatever that Super Bowl is. And this is the Super Bowl of pet products. So
that's a knowledge gold nugget right there.
I'm typing up that right now.
Yep. You
find your Super Bowl.
You want your product competing at the Super Bowl.
So
that's great.
Yes. So I'm going to the Super Bowl, and we're going to make commercials. We got interviews set up. We have a quasi news team coming over. Everything to give all my online shoppers, all my streamers, all my real watchers online. I'm providing that from my experience there. Live streaming from the Super Bowl, the American Pet Products Association trade show. And this is how I plan to remarket, just by being at these events, streaming myself at every event I go to. And this is how I'm going to approach 2025. I feel like this is the best way to be in the game, to be in action, have your product in action, and going live every time you're there. And this is my new, not just buying some type of commercial and just keep hitting it. No, you have to be seen as much as you can be. So that's my plan for 2025.
I love that. You have a plan, man. Just like Matt said, you're a planner. And I think you're going to do it exactly what you planned for.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
good things
good.
happen to inventors by accident sometimes, but more often than not, it takes someone who's very strategic in order to accomplish goals, right? So, yeah, hats off to you. I'm excited for you. Just listen to you.
Okay, exactly. So, okay, talk to us about
Thank you.
anything else you're working on. I suspect because inventors invent, do you have any other products you might want to roll out? Do you have any other parts of this company that might be coming soon?
Don't tell us
Yes.
exactly what you're doing, but
Yes. So again, I spoke about the small paws. We have the large paws and we have the small paws. I spoke about the color lineup, the assortment of colors that we're coming out with. A lot of colors to be able to satisfy everyone out here who, when I'm at these live shows, hey, do you have orange? Do you have pink? So yes, all your colors will be out. We then will start specializing these leashes to be able to ink your dog's name on the leash, ink your favorite team on the leash. I just about 2 weeks ago, I met with the Carolina Hurricanes, and won't let the cat out the bag just yet. But we're working on something special to see if I can spread this across the NHL and maybe the other NFL and all of our sporting teams. You know, so I won't say too much, but I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
We also have a retractable line coming up that will soon. I can't show you just yet because I got to run this by JD first.
Yep.
You know, he has to see it first.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just briefly, you know, these are the things that are coming up for Tail and Paws as far as other things that I'm working on.
Good. Well, let's talk about branding for a bit. We've got Matt Colseth on, our trademark attorney. Tail and Paws. You've got the words and the logo, the little orange logo. How did you decide on that? And how have you been using that in your marketing materials and website?
Okay, well, actually, it took a while because this product had a couple of different names in the beginning until we found out that it was someone's name somewhere else for some other product. So it was a lot of trial and error that came with that. But I wanted something compact, something that could easily be applied. And I have actually both of these trademarked. The paw with the paw symbol in the middle. Yep. Is actually trademarked, and the name altogether is actually trademarked. So I came up with the circle. I came up with the circle here to represent the globe, because just like with JD's help, we're going all around the globe. You know, and put it all in this box. So that was how I actually came up with it. It's very simple, something that I felt like just look neat, and it wasn't much to that. I just felt like anything with a tail we could pause, and the strength of the leash as well. So with the bold represents the strength of the leash. So that's why we chose bold print in that. So very, very, very simple. I actually did before I met JD, I actually did my trademark on my own, again through YouTube University. Just learn how to do it. Sorry I couldn't come to you for that, Matt, but
that's all right. I was actually just looking at one of the trademark applications, and it looks like the logo one you were just talking us through just registered on December 3rd. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent job.
That's a
great.
Big deal.
Yeah,
at least in my book, it's a big deal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it took a lot. It did.
No doubt.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story with us today. I always ask this of our guests: if you could, you've already dropped a lot of golden nuggets and wisdom, but if you could kind of, with parting words here, a final thought or inspiration for some of those inventors that might be where you were at the beginning, what would you say to them as they get started on this journey?
I may have said this earlier, but I'm going to say this to you all out there. No fear. You can't have any fear. If there's something you're thinking about, you have to almost, in a sense, be prepared to go all in. Don't be afraid to fail. Okay. For those out there listening, never be afraid to fail.
I love that advice. And like, I'm just thinking, I mean, there's no world in which you exist being an entrepreneur where you don't succeed. You personally, like it's clear to me, so I would say, like, for those listening at home, if this isn't resonating with you, maybe being an entrepreneur is not for you, right?
It might not be for you. Yeah.
If you can see a little bit of yourself here, then maybe move forward.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Wisdom for sure. Jaifanon, we're gonna have to have you back. We want to hear how things are going with the Super Bowl, as you say, of the pet world.
You can call us from you can dial in from your private plane next time we talk in a couple years.
Well, hey, look, hopefully you guys are with me on the plane.
That sounds great. Well, best of luck working with Bonita.
I'll be cleaning the plane for you.
Thank you both. Well, we're going to wrap up our show for Matt, for Jaifanon, everybody here at Bold. Wishing you guys a wonderful rest of your week. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care. We'll see you next year. Go big.
Thank you.
Go Bold.
You're right about that.